Hi Sticker Besties! Thanks so much for watching my new updated video here on Silhouette Studio and how to troubleshoot. As you can see, we have an error message when we opened up this particular file. This is caused because this original file was created with Silhouette Studio version 3.0 or older. And it basically just says that we couldn't find the document that was, the action setting used for this document, so it's been reverted to default cardstock settings. So you can just click OK. And then what you do is you need to make sure your settings are all correct. So the first thing that we're going to do always when we open a file is we're going to make sure the page setup is open. We're going to double check that it's on the correct cutting mat right here. We have a portrait. I have a cameo, so I'm going to switch that to cameo. This is important. If your cutting mat is not correct, you will get registration errors. The next thing that we need to check is to make sure that it's on type 1. Then we're going to go to the send page. And then we're going to make sure that we are on line. And you can see here that the material is cardstock, so we're going to click right onto that, scroll down with our middle mouse button to where it says sticker paper white. Okay, down here you'll see it says sticker paper. The action should be cut. The tool you would have to choose if you have an auto blade, a ratchet, or a deep cut blade. Please make sure that that's correct. And then you have your sticker settings. Okay, so what this is I don't know why I keep saying it's trying to reconnect. Oh. Okay, so it's just trying to connect continually, but my cameo's off, so we'll just leave that. Okay, so you have here your speed. Now this is going to depend on what type of sticker paper you're using. So I can only give you suggestions based on my personal experience. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my Silhouette here. Okay. Alright. So my Silhouette should be on here. Alright. Now, what this is now you can see that it's now it's syncing. Okay. So, sticker paper. I use Online Labels waterproof matte. So I choose 2. I change my speed to about a 4. And my force, I like it to be on a 9. That is what works best for me. Passes means how many times it's going to cut it. Make sure that's on 1. Now this right here is kind of like, if you wanted to do a little bit of overcut, I never use that. You can try it to see if it works best for you. Now this just kind of bumped it out a little bit. Like if you want to do line segment, or I never use any of these settings. Okay? Alright, so let's just go back. I don't even know how. Oh, sorry. Okay, so we've set it 8, 4. My cameo is ready. Now, if I want to test to make sure the cut's going to be correct and right for my page, I can hit test. And this will cut a tiny little triangle about this section. And you'll be able to tell if that's the right setting for your for that particular material. And then you can always adjust it. So that is basically what you want to do. You want to make sure it's on line. The material says sticker paper. You've adjusted your action and your tool. So make sure it says cut, auto blade, or ratchet, or if you're using a deep cut. You want to choose the settings that work best for your particular sticker paper. Then you can click on send. Well, that's pretty much the basics of Silhouette Studio version 4.0. So the one thing I will say is if you have an older Silhouette America Studio, you need to upgrade. You can go to help and check for updates. This should pop up a screen or something to tell you. If it doesn't, you can always go down to About Silhouette Studio, and it's going to tell you right here which version you have. So then you'll want to go to silhouettestudioamerica.com, click on Update Software. And right here, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Okay, so we know that the current version is 4.1.441. That's exactly what I have, so I know I have the correct updated version. And then if you don't, this can cause some issues. So you would want to either click on your Windows or Mac, and download and update your Silhouette Studio. And we're going to hit OK. Alright, ladies, gentlemen, the next step. This is very important. We're going to talk about troubleshooting. Okay, so I have this up because someone had contacted me. It wasn't registering. The only thing that I would suggest is doing a couple things here. Go back to your page settings, changing the length to about 625. And that kind of makes it a little bit smaller in this area. That can help. Another thing I also like to do is click on Advanced and change the left and right insets. And then on this one, I would probably grab it all and just arrow up and kind of center it in there a little bit better. Okay. So that's what I would do with this one. And let's open up something else. Let's just get a page here. Alright, so this is a brand new set that just came out. Alright. Well, that one doesn't have the blue line like I was hoping. I must have took it off. Here we go. Okay. So, as you can see, it has this blue line. What this blue line will do is it's going to cut all the red and then cut the blue separately, so then your page peels off into little sheets that you can store a little bit better. This is a new thing that I personally have been doing, and I love it. If you crop, you're going to have problems, because if you right click, select all, go to your crop, it's not going to work. So what you would need to do is just go to Edit, select by color, click the blue, and then just cut it. Then you can select all and hit crop, and then you'll be able to crop and move things around. Okay, so that's there. Again, let's talk about the blue dot, or the blue line, a little bit more. Okay, so say you have this. Yes, I realize that this blue line is in the hashed area, but mine cuts. It's right up against the red. I'm aware of that, but it works perfectly fine with mine. I use this. I cut as is. I don't crop or anything anymore. I like having all the little sheets, and I use all the stickers in various of my planners. So what I do is when I go to send, I have the reds at the top. So you want to make sure it cuts the red lines first and then the blue. I don't change the setting for the blue cardstock at all. I leave it on the default force of 20. The reason I do this is because when you peel it off of the mat, it doesn't, like, the blue isn't totally cut out. It's like perforated, so you can like fold it and then peel, just like it comes apart really easy. You don't have to cut it, nothing. But what happens is, if you make that deeper, those individual sheets will stick to your mat. and that is a pain in the butt. So I like the whole page to come off, and then I kind of just crease the area that's been cut, and it's like it's perforated and it just tears right off. It works great for me. Sticker paper white, obviously I do change the settings. I like, as I've said, 4 and 9. That's my personal preference. Because I have the auto blade, I do not have to stop and change the tool setting. So if you do not have the Cameo 3 or the Portrait 2, this is going to be a little bit difficult for you. Because when it goes to cut the blue, it's going to cut it at the same settings that you have your current blade on. So if that's the case, you want to uncheck the blue, send it through your silhouette, cut the red, and then unload it, load it back in, uncheck your red, check your blue back, change your depth to 3 and your force on your blade yourself. That might sound like too much. I get it. You can just leave it all on and just hand cut out, where it barely cut the blue. Or you could do a pass and do like 2 passes. So it would cut it through twice. You'll have to play with it to find out what works best for you. But those are the 2 things for that. The auto blade is really awesome. So if you've thought about upgrading to the newer Portrait 2 or Cameo 3, I highly recommend the Cameo 3. I find that it cuts so much better than my original Portrait ever did. Anyway, that's just my personal opinion. This video is not sponsored. I do not get anything for getting you guys to upgrade to the 3. Just remember that. It's personal preference only. I really like my Cameo 3. Okay. Let's get back here. So let's open one more file and discuss some other things. Let's open something probably a little bit. Okay. Let's load this one up here. Okay. So here is an older $2 Tuesday. This is still an older file. It's probably created with 4.1, but let's just say that we're having issues with your registration. It's not cutting. You've checked all your settings. It's still not registering. What I would suggest that you do is right-click, select all, right-click, copy. We're going to go right here to this plus sign and hit plus. And we're going to right-click and paste in front. Then we're going to make sure our page setting is clicked. We're going to check and put it on the right mat, Cameo or Portrait. We're going to go to type 1. Then we're going to go to send. We're going to choose line from simple. And then we definitely want to make sure red is above the blue. And that is all we need to do. And if you have, like we already talked about, you can change the blue to cardstock. Or you can get rid of the blue altogether by unchecking it, just cutting the red. Or if you need to crop it, you can edit, select by color, select your red, hit delete. You got rid of the red. Or the blue and you have only the red. If you have any other questions that you are wanting to know about, please let me know. Let's talk about one other thing. Resizing. Alright, so we have our, let's just open a weekly kit in the EC here. Actually, let's go with a monthly. Let me open a monthly here. Sorry, guys. Got one. let's talk about a couple things real quick. Let me just open these April files. I'll just take a moment. Okay, so I opened all the files here that came with the April Erin Condren. I want to just go ahead and close these. Okay. No, I don't want to change it. No. No. And no. Okay. Okay, so we have one more page. Alright, this April kit came with 4 pages. You have your alternates. Alright, the one thing I want to say about this is you do not have to print this entire page. I know that you only use one of these girls. So my suggestion would be to right click, select all, make sure that you have your modify panel open, hit crop. We're going to do that to the first page as well. Right click, select all, and crop. Remember, if it had blue, you'll want to delete those blue lines first. So I don't want to use this sidebar. I want to use one of these. So I'm going to choose her, and I'm going to hit cut. I'm going to go back to this page, and I'm going to hit paste. The next thing I want to do is rotate it. So I go to Object, Rotate by 90 degrees. Then I can fit her right down here. And you can get rid of any excess. Okay? So you have all these. That's the only thing you wanted to do a little differently. So, next step you're going to need to do is go to Send. As you can see, we're on line, but there are no more lines. So what you need to do to fix that, go back here, right click, select all, go to Send. Then we're going to check, we're going to click on Simple. And then we're going to cut Edge. And you got your lines back. Then you'll be ready to go. So you got your cut edge, and you can change your settings right here. You see there's a lot less, but right there. Okay, now I do have 2 tools in my Cameo 3, so that's what this is. I can have 2 different cutting tools, so if I had something loaded in 2, I could choose that. Okay, but I don't. Then we can go back to design. Let's go to this. So most of you have seen that this is blank, and what this is basically, I just included 2019 so you could use it this year or next year. All you need to do is just move that to where you want it to be. When you go to Send, nothing else is going to change. Now, if you are going to use this in a crop method, make sure you don't have it highlighted after you've cropped. And then you can just print it, and it's going to print with the 19 on there. Resizing. If you want to resize, you will need to crop. So you select all, crop, and then you can change the size by going up here and adjusting the width and height. You can lock the aspect ratio or unlock it depending on how big it is. So then you can change the size of this. Just remember, if you get too big, it might distort it, but you can make it a little bit bigger. You can make it thinner if your planner needs to be a specific size and you can't find stickers that fit. If you have a big happy planner, you can adjust whatever you need. Then you can rearrange all the icons on the page to fit everything that you've adjusted. And this is just going to take some time. You're going to have to measure your planner and make sure that you have the right sizes that you need. And the cropping is going to be paramount. You have to crop everything first. Just remember, into the back. You'll have to crop it first, and then you can resize. Now the Big Happy Planner is just too difficult for me to make so many different planner sizes, and the Big Happy Planner is just big. So you might have to rotate to get things to fit. I have no idea the dimensions on the Happy Planner, the Big Happy Planner, or the Big Recollections. So that is how you can resize things to make them work with whatever you want. I mean, you can even resize some of the icons. Like when we just had those, anything can be resized. Anything. Right, if you have any other questions, anything you would like to see me do, please let me know in the comments, and I will get to you guys. I'm here to help. I appreciate all that you do for the shop. Thank you so much for watching this video. And make sure you join our Facebook group to join in all the other fun that we have. Thanks, guys.